to another video. Got quite an interesting one for you today. So basically I'm going to be running down 10 of my favourite standard Screen Factory Blu-rays, which means you know, Blu-rays from Screen Factory that are not collector's editions, steelbooks or 4K, so it's just their standard releases basically that they've put out. Still quite good, very good releases with them being Screen Factory, so they're not too standard per se. But we'll start with Night of the Seagulls from 1975. Strange 70s movie. You know, it's got a good aesthetic. It's set on this coastal town. Basically these guys who are on the back come back from the dead, and there's a curse on the town, and they're trying to go after, you know, they're going after this young woman and the people around her. Great Blu-ray to have though, but as you can see, not many special features with it being a more standard from Screen Factory. But I'm not sure how hard this one is to get, but it's definitely worth having in your collection. You know, if you like your 70s movies and stuff, you know, it's got a great look to it. Night of the Seagulls. That's number 10. Number 9 is Session 9. It's basically about these guys who are part of a team that go and clear asbestos, and they go to an old manor house, like mental asylum, to clean the asbestos. One of them comes across some tapes and recordings of a former patient from there, and it basically goes down from there, and it's got a good twist at the end and things. Sure a lot of you have seen it, but I really enjoyed Session 9. I know there's a second side of this as well. They put out a big limited edition. I decided to go with the Screen Factory, but that's Session 9. Don't need to talk about that one too much. Number 8, Superstition. It's sort of like a witchcraft movie. It's about the legend of this old witch, and she's coming back and basically like murdering people. It's mainly set in this abandoned house. A lot of the murders take place, but it's a really creepy one, and the imagery involving the witch is very creepy indeed. Very ghastly, like it says on the back. A series of ghastly accidents has occurred near the site where a witch drowned centuries earlier. Yeah, because she was drowned. You know, like what they used to do with witchcraft when they used to drown the witches and, you know, burn them and stuff. She'd obviously been murdered during that period. But yeah, Superstition at number 8. It's a great release. Not sure how long this one's been out. Most of these are region A, by the way. In fact, they all are, because Screen Factory don't do region 3, apart from their 4Ks are region 3, obviously, by default. But when it comes to Blu-rays, they're all region A. 7 is a slasher, The Final Terror. Really enjoyed this one. It's got some, you know, some good performances in there and stuff. Some really like quirky bits. It's basically about this group of people on a retreat. You can see the cast there, you know, like it's got, you know, really interesting one. And basically there's this slasher trying to take them out. It's a stalk and slash movie set in the woods with the campers, and yeah, they're just trying to survive really, and they try and trap the killer at the end so they can figure out who it is. They have their sort of ideas who it may be, but it turns out they're wrong. They're going along the wrong track. But that's The Final Terror. Anyway, number 7, really good, really enjoyed that. Another Blu-ray at number 6 is Body Parts. This does warrant a rewatch. I think I watched it a couple of years ago. Really good one. Very interesting indeed. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, criminal psychologist loses his arm, and yeah, the army gets a new arm. This guy's been in an accident, and it takes on a life of its own, and he starts these murders start happening. And it's that sort of thing, you can imagine. That's Body Parts. I do need to rewatch that one actually, because I can't really remember it. Just having a look what I've got left. Number 5 is Let's Scare Jessica to Death. Another 70s movie. 71. As you can see, it's got a few features on this one actually. Another region A, but a great film to have. I think the label Imprint have put this one out as well, so there is a region B of it you can pick up. But yeah, it's a great movie. It's rather strange about this woman who yeah, this couple moving to a house in a village, like, you know, a little country sort of cottage place, like out of the way, sort of more in nature, and this strange woman turns up and things go from there basically. And it's quite like psychological. It's apparently it's a PG like film. It does say on the back PG-13, so somewhere there, so it's quite mild, but it's very creepy indeed, I must say. For like one that's rated PG, Does have some good scares in there. Let's Scare Jessica to Death, but definitely worth checking out. Good 70s one. Number 4 is Ouija Board. Really enjoyed this. Basically, these people try and communicate with an entity through an Ouija board, and they think it's like a, you know, an good spirit, but it turns out to be a rather sinister one. So they're kind of tricked into, you know, communicating with this demon entity, should I say, and it turns out to be a demon, and it starts picking some of the characters off. Yeah, really good. Really enjoyed Ouija Board. I also have Ouija Board 2, which I haven't got around to watching. 3 out of the sort of standard Scream Factory put out is Graveyard Shift. It's based on a Stephen King adaptation. It's great. It's about these guys who work in an factory, I believe on a night shift. Yeah, at a mill. They work for this guy who owns a company like where they work at a mill, and they're renovating the mill and stuff, and then they get it running again, and they're doing the work in there. And there's this, you know, people keep disappearing and getting killed and things like that, and there's a rat problem, and as you can imagine, it's going to be a creature feature, so won't give too much away. But that's Graveyard Shift at number 3. Brilliant film. And then another one is a classic. Number 2 is The Tenant. Scream Factory released this Roman Polanski movie, like utterly fantastic. You know, it's a psychological mind bender. Don't really know what to say about it, apart from this guy moves into an apartment and he starts seeing strange things, and his whole life's been turned upside down and going all topsy-turvy, and it goes from there basically. And it's very, like, you know, it makes you question what you're seeing on screen. Is it happening? Isn't it happening? Is it all in his mind? And there's a really bizarre scene at the end where all the neighbours are out on the their balconies, like watching him when he's about to commit suicide. I won't reveal too much, but it makes you question whether that's really happening or not, or if it's in his mind and he's on this balcony and, like, you know, he's getting ready to like jump and they're all clapping and cheering and you're like, this can't be real, but is it? You know, it's a really strange one. A Roman Polanski film that's great. And number 1 for me is one that I think it got released last year from Scream Factory, and it's Fire in the Sky. And they say it's based on a true story, true events, but set in Arizona. Yeah, about these group of people from a small rural town. They're out in their vehicles, and basically they go missing for years and then turn up again. Or one of them does, sorry. One of them goes missing, and apparently he's been abducted by aliens, and it's got a really eerie, crazy, like, alien abduction scene in it where the aliens are probing him, and it's really strange and really kind of icky and stuff as well. But that's Fire in the Sky. Absolutely brilliant. All right then, tried to give a bit of information on each of the titles. I'm slightly rusty because I've not seen some of them for a while, and I'll be honest, I didn't really prep for this video too much. I sort of did it off the cuff, so was just my basic thoughts. I can always go into detail more with some movies and things like that. Anyway, that's the sort of my favourite 10 favourite Scream Factory standards that I've got, that aren't, you know, ones that aren't collector's editions or steelbooks or 4Ks. That's just their sort of standard Blu-rays they put out. All right then, any comments, you know, put them in the comments section, because I do enjoy reading them and responding. You know, have you seen any of these movies? What do you think? Have you seen, like, Fire in the Sky? Do you own it? It's a, like I said, I gave that one number 1, and I think it's really worth picking up. It's a very yeah, quite a ride. It's a really good alien abduction movie. Probably one of the best I've seen. Yeah, that sort of horror adjacent. Yeah, Fire in the Sky, really good one. Got Graveyard Shift in there from Stephen King. I'm sure a lot of you have seen that. Sure, that had a DVD release as well and things like that. The first time I seen it was on Blu-ray from Scream Factory. So yeah, all right then, that's the end of the video. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.